YouTube is Boxing Mind TV. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Now that's over with. Let's get straight to it. Terence Crawford has recently took to social media and let some things off his chest. And the one thing that I noticed is that he said that Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter are basically not, top welterweights, shouldn't be considered top welterweights because they took L's. They took L's when they fought, when Shawn Porter fought Errol Spence, when Shawn Porter fought Keith Thurman. They both lost. He lost those fights. And Danny Garcia lost to Keith Thurman, and who else he lost to besides Shawn Porter? Just Keith Thurman. So Terence Crawford point is that whenever Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter would step up and fight, the top welterweights, quote unquote top welterweights, they didn't prevail. They didn't come out with a victory. So how they could still consider top welterweights is and he was saying that they shouldn't, basically. And he said the only person Danny Garcia fought is Robert Guerrero and Paulie Malignaggi. And he says everybody beats those guys. You can't be considered a top welterweight being those guys, and Danny Garcia hasn't beat a top welterweight yet to be considered a top welterweight. And that's what his point was, because everybody's always blasting his resume about who he's fighting, and they probably amp his fighters up just a little bit until he beats them, like Kell Brook, saying that Kell Brook would have been a good test, the best test he ever got. But now that he's knocked him out, Kell Brook was a shell of himself. He just basically responding about how everybody is criticizing his resume and not criticizing the other welterweights, and how they consider them the top welterweights, and the fighters he fighting not to be the top welterweights. But here's my response to it. Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter, yes, they came up short in some of those fights. I think Shawn Porter lost to Kell Brook. Kell Brook, that was in his prime. That was, good. The good Kell Brook that was doing his thing. Shawn Porter lost to that Kell Brook. And Shawn Porter lost to Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. Danny Garcia lost to Shawn Porter and who was? Shawn Porter and Keith Thurman. Yes, Shawn Porter and Keith Thurman. Okay. But in all those fights though, they were always close fights, and they are considered the top welterweights. Now, for them being the top welterweights and their fights are close, and then when they go fight other challengers, they dominate. So whenever they step aside the top echelons or the top fighters in that class, they always dominate. But when they fight each other, it's always back and forth. Anybody can win. That's what considers them, still considers top welterweight still, because it's not they're not being dominated by anybody. It's always tick for tat, showing. That's when the skill level is damn near equal between everybody in that welterweight division. Anybody can lose almost. You know what I'm saying? And the only argument we have as fans usually is not that we down in Terence Crawford. We're not saying he's not a good talent. Terence Crawford is a great talent. You know what I'm saying? Pound for pound, I can give him the pound for pound. He's talented. He was undisputed at 140. At 147, came in, beat Jeff Horn, that just beat Manny Pacquiao. I give Terence Crawford credit. It's just the thing is that we see the other top welterweights, and we want to see him mix it up with those top welterweights. Cause when those top welterweights fight each other, they're always close. So it's like, damn, them boys, they go at it. They are the elite of the class, the elite in the division. And we just want to see Terence Crawford mix it up with those guys. The fans want to see that, because we want to see, are you a level ahead of them, or are you, is everybody in the same, pretty much the same level? You know what I'm saying? And you just came out on top. We want to see those fights because those will be, challenging fights. We predict them to be challenging fights, exciting fights between you two guys or people that you mix it up with in the top rankings of the welterweight division. The guys that you're fighting, nobody usually never heard of them. Like Mean Machine, I never heard of Mean Machine at first. He put up a good fight with you. You know what I'm saying? But we never heard of him. He's not a notable opponent, and it doesn't help your notoriety by beating him. You know what I'm saying? Beating Amir Khan was good, but Amir Khan was, everybody knew Amir Khan didn't have no chin. But it was a good, notable opponent to fight, but he wasn't a top welterweight. Everybody just want to see Terence Crawford fight at top welterweight. We're not denying his talent or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? His ranking is fine to me. You know what I'm saying? Because he's, from the eye test, Terence Crawford is talented. He deserves it. You know what I'm saying? He deserves to be in that top ranking that he is in the pound for pound ranking, whether it's number 1 or top 5. He deserves that. We just want to see you mix it up with the other welterweights. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. That's all it is. I know he's saying, they can't beat the top because they took L's. You could take L's and bounce back. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens, when you fight other top fighters, other top competition. That's like normal in boxing. You may take a L here and there, but that doesn't make you, not great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Andrew Garcia mentioned that in one of his interviews recently about how people not giving Danny Garcia credit. Just because you get a decision that doesn't go your way, a close decision that doesn't go your way, it doesn't mean that you're not a great fighter. Other fighters in the past have lost and still be considered great fighters. Like he said, Hector Camacho. Well, not, I don't think Hector Camacho ever lost, but like Oscar De La Hoya, that lost, that took fights, took challenging fights and lost, but still considered great, still gets into the Hall of Fame. So he's saying boxing has to change that because you took a L, a close fight, you lost a close fight that night, doesn't mean that you're not a great fighter. That you can't be a great fighter or you're not a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of talented boxers out there. But that's all I want to say about that, is that we just want to see you mix it up with top welterweights. That's top welterweights that consider top. You know what I'm saying? It's the reason why they still at the top, because when they fight each other, it's a close fight. But when they fight other people, in my opinion, when they fight other people, they separate themselves. That's why they still consider top welterweights even after a loss. Now, if they would have got beaten by a top welterweight, right, and then they went to go, as they building back, trying to build back up into the rankings, they fight another fighter and then they take a L, you know what I'm saying, then keep taking L's from that, they're not considered top welterweights no more. But these guys, Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter, they will take a L, come back, fight another fighter, and come out on top. And so it's like, all right, they still consider it, they still got it, it's still at the elite status. You know what I'm saying? It's just when they fight another top fighter, they liable to lose. Liable to lose a close decision. Not just lose, but they lose a close decision. Like it could have went either way in some of those fights. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they consider top welterweight. So I don't agree with Terence Crawford saying that Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter, how they consider top welterweights. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they consider top welterweights, what I just said. So let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Boxing Mind TV, and I'm out.